Season 2 opens in Syria, 4 years after the events that supposedly ended Richard Roper's reign. Jonathan Pine stands beside Angela Burr as they prepare to identify a body. Angela makes the rules clear: no autopsy, no photographs, no records. The body will be identified, burned, and erased. Roper will officially remain missing, and Jonathan Pine will never have been here. Pine lets Angela go in alone. She confirms the body is Roper's and promises Pine that after this, he'll finally sleep again. In present-day London, Pine lives under the name Alex Goodwin, a senior MI6 officer running the Night Owl's surveillance unit. His life appears calm, carefully constructed, and deliberately unremarkable. He brushes off his neighbor Teresa's friendly advances and attends his MI6 evaluation, insisting he's content, stable, and happy where he is. Promotions don't interest him. He wants to stay exactly where he is. The interviewer senses something buried beneath the surface, but Alex maintains his composure, claiming he's not the type to explode. At River House, the Night Owls monitor suspicious figures moving through London hotels. One target, Kadyrov, has ties to organized crime and child trafficking. During a covert operation at a White Room party, Alex spots a familiar face on the surveillance feed: Jaco Brouwer, a dangerous fixer he once knew from another life. The sight rattles him. Jaco was closely connected to Richard Roper, and his presence in London feels like a warning. Alex goes to Surrey to see his mentor Rex Mayhew. He overhears Rex speaking privately with a woman named Roxana before she leaves abruptly. Rex shuts down Alex's questions and reminds him of the rules. Jonathan Pine no longer exists, Roper is dead, and the past must stay buried. Still unsettled, Alex watches Rex host his birthday gathering, haunted by memories of Roper and the world he escaped. Back at work, Alex orders discreet surveillance on Jaco. Audio from a meeting reveals Jaco coordinating a sensitive shipment bound for Cartagena, Colombia. The cargo requires government-stamped documentation and a diplomatic briefcase. Jaco refers to his mysterious superior as a true disciple of Richard Roper. The implication is enough to shake Alex, even if he pretends otherwise. Before Alex can act, everything collapses. Rex is found dead at his Surrey home, an apparent suicide. Alex arrives to find police, MI6 officials, and unanswered questions. Celia, Rex's partner, insists he was agitated and desperate to speak with Alex before his death. Alone in the house, Alex discovers a hidden phone and coded notes pointing to something Rex uncovered shortly before he died. The evidence suggests Rex was murdered and that Mayra Cavendish, the new head of River House, may be involved. The London intermediary appears to be Adam Hollywell. The Colombian company, Barquero Commerce, is run by a man named Teddy Dos Santos, who also operates a charitable foundation and keeps his past carefully erased. As the Night Owls dig deeper, Alex uncovers disturbing images linking Teddy to executions and armed groups. Jaco appears beside him in one photo. When a mysterious caller labeled Broker rings Rex's phone, Alex answers in silence, confirming Rex was still deeply embedded in something dangerous. The trail leads back to Roxana, a Colombian shipping broker. Alex finds her and places her under protection. She explains that she was brokering a shipment of UK machine tools for an oil pipeline company in Cartagena, but something about the deal felt wrong. The investigation turns personal when Alex visits Daniel Roper, Richard's son. Using a false name, Alex admits the truth Danny was never told. His father was executed years ago. The revelation shatters the boy's remaining trust and closes that door forever. Meanwhile, the situation spirals. Jaco receives the diplomatic briefcase and flies to Spain. Against protocol, Alex takes his team after him. In a Spanish motel, Teddy meets Jaco to inspect the documents. Teddy discovers a tracker hidden in the case and realizes they've been compromised. What follows is chaos. Shots are fired. Members of Alex's team are killed. Jaco is found dead, strapped into a bomb vest that detonates moments after Alex escapes the room. As smoke clears, Teddy disappears into the night. Next, we see the aftermath of the disaster in Spain. At River House, Mayra Cavendish confronts Sally Price Jones, making it clear that the Night Owls were a surveillance unit only. They had no authority to follow Michelle Hibbert to Spain. Sally insists she was acting on Alex Goodwin's orders, believing he had clearance. Mayra shuts that down. Alex had none. The Night Owls unit is terminated with immediate effect, and Sally is told to take time off. Officially, the unit was never in Spain. In Three Cliffs Bay, Wales, Alex walks alone before entering a safe house. Inside, he finds Basil Carapetian and instinctively pulls a knife. Basil calmly calls him by his real name, Jonathan Pine, and says they're alone. He admits he helped Rex build Alex Goodwin's identity and protected him after the explosion by ensuring reports listed 2 bodies when there was only 1. Mara believes Alex died in Spain. Basil wants Jonathan alive and useful. Jonathan shows Basil the photographs he found in Roper's archive and asks whether Richard Roper was smuggling arms into Colombia decades ago. Basil says it was never proven, but highly likely. Jonathan believes Teddy Dos Santos is continuing Roper's operation, with British intelligence quietly enabling it. Roxana Bolanos has vanished without a trace. Jonathan meets Sally nearby. She's angry that Waleed and Graham died without knowing the truth about him, but she refuses to walk away now. They discuss Alejandro Gualteros, a Colombian prosecutor who has repeatedly tried to stop Barquero commerce. Using an anonymous tip, they have helped him freeze accounts and impound the shipment from the Alcestis. Teddy will now need cash. Basil suggests that's Jonathan's opening. Alex Goodwin must stay dead. Jonathan Pine becomes Matthew Ellis. Under his new identity, Jonathan travels to Colombia. He checks into a motel and heads to the Medellin Gun Club, where he deliberately crosses paths with Juan Carrascal, Teddy's lawyer. They play tennis and make a small wager. Teddy watches from a distance before approaching. Matthew presents himself as a disgraced financier looking for new opportunities after problems with Chinese partners. Teddy listens, then excuses himself to deal with news that Alejandro is interfering with Barquero's shipment. In London, Rex is laid to rest. Mara delivers a public tribute, then privately questions Basil about where his loyalties lie. She demands all of Rex's operational files and makes it clear that the service intends to sit at the top of the table, no matter who gets crushed beneath it. Back in Colombia, Matthew attends a Barquero charity gala. Teddy promotes the Aurora Foundation and positions himself as a benefactor to Colombia's future. Roxana appears, and she and Matthew carefully pretend they have never met. Alone, she admits Rex contacted her after noticing unusual traffic between River House and Columbia. She insists she never knew what was in the shipment and never expected Rex to be killed. Matthew tells her Teddy will need money and asks her to position him as a potential lender. She agrees, wanting only to escape back to Miami. Matthew notices a photograph inside Teddy's wallet, an image he recognizes. He hires a private investigator, Martín Alvarez, to identify the woman. The search leads them to a grave, Maria Luisa Vidal. Her daughter, Clara, reveals that Teddy is actually Eduardo Vidal, her brother, missing for 30 years. Further digging uncovers that Eduardo was sent to a monastery as a teenager after a scandal. His father, who visited once a year, was English. The truth settles heavily on Jonathan. Sally uncovers more about Barquero. The Alcestis shipment is the 6th in 2 years, and the final one. If their suspicions are right, it contains a massive cache of British weapons. When Jonathan tells her what he's learned, the implication is clear. Teddy Dos Santos is Richard Roper's son, continuing his father's empire under a new name. Roxana calls Jonathan with news. Teddy wants to meet. He's considering Matthew for a short-term loan of $20 million. At Teddy's compound, Matthew is shown hospitality and quietly studies the operation, spotting the diplomatic briefcase. Teddy speaks openly about loyalty, risk, and reward. He offers Matthew a deal, no questions, double his money in 3 months. Drunk by the end of the night, Matthew confesses he's been laundering money and hiding millions from furious Swiss bankers. Teddy assures him he can make it all clean.